and welcome to GBN Live. I'm your host, Tracy Hansen. I'm with the Saybrook chapter of GBN. What's up, Saybrook? Today we have Matthew Ethridge with us. He is with Hodge Ethridge Insurance Agency, and we will get to talking with him in just a second. I do want to thank our sponsor, Grand Strand Law Group. They have offices in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, and you can reach them at 843-492-5422. Also at grandstrandlawgroup.com. I highly recommend them. You can leave your comments and questions for our guest in the comments section. If you're having a little trouble with that, with your comments appearing, you may have to grant us permission. And to do that, you need to go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and that will grant us permission to show your comments online. So thank you for being with us today, Matthew, and we will be right back. All right, welcome back. I'm your host, Tracy Hansen, and we're here with Matthew Ethridge today from Hodge Ethridge Insurance Agency. He's also with the Florence Chapter of GBN. Yeah, so a little bit of a drive there today, huh?
That's right. Yes, ma'am. Start the day out right.
That's right. That's right. Well, we're glad you could join us.
Thank you for having me.
Glad you made it down 501 without being late. I guess we forgot to mention that road, didn't we?
I should have known better.
All right. So before we get started and getting into insurance, let's talk about you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your family and where you're from and all that good stuff.
All right. Well, thank you for having me this morning. I'm born and raised in Florence, South Carolina. I did get out of town a little bit. I came down to coastal Carolina for college. So I did the golf management program, and I also got a bachelor's in marketing. So I know the area pretty well. And like I said, I should have known better than to go down 501 today.
So you did know better.
Yeah. It's following the GPS instead of my heart. So, so yeah, I'm a local Florentine, and just enjoyed the area, and work brought me back after college. So I've been in the insurance business now for over 13 years.
Oh, okay. We have a comment from Deb Zimmerman. She says, welcome to the area, Matthew.
Thank you, Miss Deb.
So tell me a little bit about Hodge Ethridge Insurance Agency and a little bit about that company.
Wonderful. So we started as a one-office agency in Florence, and through the last several years, we've expanded. We've grown into other areas such as the Kingstree and Hartsville. We've acquired some other agencies and really built a good setup for us. We cover a lot of territory, and we're licensed not only in just those areas, but throughout the entire state of South Carolina. Recently, for some better news for us, we've partnered with a national agency called Relation Insurance. Tried to wear my branding today.
There you go.
And so now we're part of a national agency that opens us up to a lot of really good markets. And I'm the type of agent, I hate to say no to anybody. So it's nice to have a solution for just about everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely gives you an edge above the competition in that regard, for sure.
We like that.
Yeah, right. I'm sure you do. So I know you specialize in P&C, property and casualty. What made you choose to go that route instead of other types of insurance?
Well, with the property and casualty, I think the thing I love about it so much is that I get to really know my clients, and I get to learn a lot about them, a lot about their families, and it helps me offer, products that are directed towards them and maybe a better suitability. So that's what I feel like my job a lot of times is, to find that good blend of coverage, price, and suitability. And I think that's what property and casualty has let me do throughout the years, because, that only not encompasses just your home and auto, but we can do your business insurance as well. And so we can really just take care of everything for our people.
Jewelry and all that kind of
thing. Oh,
goodness.
Well, yeah, right? You're getting ahead of me now.
Yeah, okay.
But we're definitely going to hit some hot topics, jewelry, of course, being springtime now. Right. We like the fun toys, boats, and RVs and everything. Yep. So it doesn't have to just be the home and auto. We like to do a little bit of everything.
That's great. So you always hear about like bundling and getting discounts for insurance and stuff. Can you talk a little bit about what would qualify, how you can get some of those discounts.
Absolutely. Bundling is great. It works out for a lot of companies because and couples, because you can have your home and auto in one place. Now some companies do some different things. Some won't do your toys, such as RVs, golf carts, things like that, and then some will. So bundling is great. Other discounts that are wonderful right now, the payment plans. If you're able to do automatic payments,
Okay.
a lot of companies are giving extra discounts for that. Paid in full is a huge discount now.
Okay.
They'll cut up to about 10% of your total premium
Oh, wow.
just to pay it in full a lot of times. But we can dig deeper. The newest thing that a lot of the companies are wanting to push right now, we call it telematics, but you probably heard like Nationwide is Smart Ride, Progressive has their Snapshot, but you hear all these different companies basically coming up with ways to reward good drivers. So that's kind of the way of the future, we believe. Some of them are even tapping in with the new vehicle manufacturers, so we can run your VIN number, and if you've had the car for a year, 2, 3 years, they can pull those driving statistics and give you discounts right out of the gate.
Wow.
So it's really cool what they're doing with a lot of the technology. Of course, there's other ways to do it. They give you these little devices that you can plug into your car. You download an app on your phone. There's a lot of neat things in that regard.
That is neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely pushing it a lot because, again, we get that question 9 times out of 10 is, I'm a great driver. I don't have any speeding tickets. And, we can rate for those things and give you a clean driving record discount and all that. But this is a way to further that.
Right.
So it's almost like they're saying, we want to give you a discount. Help us prove why you need it, or,
right.
How you deserve that. So it's really cool.
That is neat, how the technology, because you really don't think of it that way, but I know what you mean, where you can plug it in and it gives the statistics of your drive and how you're driving and are you speeding or this or that, and it's just kind of neat,
It really is.
If you're doing the right thing.
Touche. Very,
Maybe it's not for everybody.
I always present it to some husband and wives or partners as a game. You can see how you're doing versus them, and say, oh, my discount's a little bit better than yours. You better step it up.
That's kind of funny. I think I want to do that.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had to keep quiet on mine. My wife didn't do quite as well, so I didn't tease her too much.
Right. Maybe you can place a small wager. Who buys dinner?
There you go. Yeah.
Make it fun.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to, you talked a little bit about home insurance. When it comes to home, insuring your home, what are some of the most important things that you want to make sure you're getting covered?
First and foremost, you want to look at replacement value of your house, especially lately with the wild fluctuation in values. We want to make sure if that worst case scenario were to happen, we want you in exactly the same as you were before, which is the purpose of insurance. And so that's been a struggle as of late, because if you bought a house back in the middle 2010s or even 2020, the house value that you bought it at is not consistent with today's market.
Right. Good point.
So that's been the big thing. And people are like, well, I wish I could sell my house for what you guys are insuring it for. And unfortunately, that's a different conversation too, because our job is to build you back where you were before, whatever scenario happened. So replacement cost is huge. And it even extends beyond the house itself. You can dive into the contents. One of my main, issues I put people in, let's say your house gets struck by lightning. Well, everything electrical goes in your house, and you think like, oh, my computer, my TV. But let's think further. Let's look at your appliances.
Right.
Your dishwasher, your refrigerator, washer and dryer, CPAP machine. I mean, you can literally go on. And if you don't have replacement cost on your contents, they can give you a depreciated value, sort of like a car, for those items. But if you have replacement cost, you just pay that one deductible, whatever it is on your policy, and you get a new refrigerator, you get a new washer and dryer, you get a new dishwasher and everything.
Because it's replaced, yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
replacement
exactly
cost versus depreciation.
Yeah, interesting. So do you think people should revisit their insurance policies now that home prices have increased to make sure that they are covered for what replacement value would be? Yeah.
Absolutely. We try to have that conversation with a lot. Unfortunately, the carriers get a bit of ahead of us.
Hmm.
So people get their renewals and they say,
Right.
why is my price going up? And so we have to visit that conversation as, well, you're not just paying more just to pay more. This is what you're getting with that price increase. Your home value is increased 30, 40,
Hmm.
$50,000 to keep up with today's standards, because I think I'm going to have a lot more of an upset client when I can only rebuild 3/4 of their house back versus the entire thing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's been a big point of conversation lately.
I bet.
I would say another one that I like to hit on with certain carriers, they call it loss of use. It's really
Hmm.
big. And what that is, well, let's put you back in the same scenario. You have a loss, you're not able to live in your home while it's being repaired. Loss of use puts you in temporary housing, covers
Right.
all of those bills,
Right.
moving and everything. And let's just say if you have to stay in a hotel for a couple weeks, it may not be that bad. It's a couple week thing. They'll give you money to go out to dinner,
Hmm.
because guess what? You can't cook half the time.
Right.
So that's another one that we hit on a lot.
Right.
Some companies will put limits on it, and then we have other companies. They have language that says actual loss sustained, and to me, what that means is we got your back no matter what it is. So I've seen both sides of it, and we like to make sure our people are covered.
Good. Yeah, because it's almost something you may not even think about when you're thinking about getting your insurance. Loss of use, like, oh, I want to make sure my house gets rebuilt, to the fullest. Well, that takes a little bit of time.
Right.
Where are you going?
Yeah. What am I going to do tomorrow?
Right.
How am I going to get ready for work, or
Right.
get the kids
Kids
back to
to
school?
school
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's it's definitely one of the most under talked about coverages that are pretty important.
I bet. Definitely needs to have a conversation, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely something to be aware of. So let's expand on that a little bit, talking about the home, and let's move it to auto. What do you think should be covered in your auto policies to, really give yourself protection?
Great question. So you'll always hear a lot of agents, they'll use the term full coverage.
Hmm.
And it's pretty interesting because you just think in that scenario, everything is
You do.
covered, right?
Right. Oh, good. Perfect.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I just feel warm and hugged,
Right.
you're just going to take care of me. But we break it down to help people customize it, because they might not want everything that would come in, that the company have to offer. So we discuss what comprehensive coverage does. We discuss what collision covers, and then naturally liability is a huge thing.
Yeah.
South Carolina, for instance, has some of the lower liability limits that the state requires. So we always encourage our clients to have higher, depending on where they are in life too.
Hmm.
I mean, if you've got somebody that's 20, 21, 22, they're not going to have the same need as somebody that's in their mid 30s with a family, or 50s or 60s getting ready to retire. So we try to keep that in mind as well. But there's some other cool coverages too. One I kind of wanted to hit on. A lot of people are buying new cars right now. So the companies are starting to come out with this thing called new car replacement. So basically, let's say you bought a brand new car in 2020 or 2022 or something, and it gets wrecked.
Hmm.
Instead of them basing your claim off of the depreciated value,
Right.
your car with 30,000 miles or whatever, they base the claim off of what it would cost to buy you a new one.
Wow.
So that's been a really fun one to talk about, and it's relatively inexpensive. We see it come down to be about $5 a month, $6 a
Wow.
month.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because, like they say, the car starts to depreciate as soon as you leave that lot.
That's right.
So to have that, to be able to be like, I just had a new car. Now I don't anymore.
I just paid it
My
off.
first new car, and now I'm back to this.
Yeah. So getting back into that, well, and especially right now with just like homes, car values are through the roof.
Yes.
So getting to replace what you had, you're gonna have to come out of pocket $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 more than you did before.
Right.
So yeah, the auto, that's a great one. Of course, naturally, all of our companies are going to offer your rental car reimbursement and your roadside assistance services. So those are always great coverages. Some companies, if you get on their elevated tiers, they'll cover some contents in your cars.
Okay.
So if your iPad gets
Right.
stolen or your backpack with all your good information, you can recover some money for that too and not have to claim it on your homeowner's policy.
Oh, okay. That's
So,
good to know.
yeah, that's been
that's
pretty neat.
kind of-
It's very company specific. There's
Mhm.
probably 3 that we deal with that offer that.
Mhm.
So it may not always be the cheapest company to go with, but I guess that's where
Right.
you have to weigh your benefits of what you could possibly get out
Right.
of
And
it.
what are you keeping in your car?
Well,
You
that
know what I
too, yeah.
mean?
Yeah, we're trying to take your purse out, take
Right.
all your laptop, everything. Of course, I'm bad
Right.
about that. Sometimes I leave my book bag in my car.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Because you think if you put it on the floor, no one will see it.
right. Tint the windows,
Right.
whatever, put it in the trunk,
Right.
anything to help yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's definitely good advice. So after the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about why Matthew does what he does. So stay tuned and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Jess the San. I've been a canine liaison at Grand Strand Law Group for, 30 years? What's that? You don't believe me? I meant 30 dog years, of course. First rule of lawyering, read the fine print. Anywho, my humans at Grand Strand Law Group have a combined 20 years experience. I know, not as much as me, but that's in people years. So yeah, still pretty impressive. Real estate, estate planning, or probate, you need GSLG.
Grand Strand Law Group. Trust us, we have a dog.
Great Business Networking grew out of the idea that by creating lasting friendships within the community, we can make the community even better.
I was looking to network with professionals and to be able to refer my clients to somebody that I trust.
Well, it's really important to trust the members of the group because we really generate quality referrals, and to know somebody, be friends with them, and get that qualified referral is the key to success.
It is networking, but it doesn't feel like networking, and that is important to me. I come to the meetings, I have fun, I make great connections, and I help grow my business.
GBN, these are some of the best professionals in the market, and having that resource available to me, that's priceless.
Well, GBN is a network of business professionals that build long-lasting friendships that will not only grow my business, will grow yours as well. That's what referral marketing is all about.
GBN really is the most important marketing for your business. Check us out today.
All right, welcome back to GBN Live. I'm your host, Tracy Hansen, and we're here with Matthew Ethridge with the Hodge Ethridge Insurance Agency out there in Florence. He's with the Florence Chapter. I would like to take a quick second and thank our sponsor, Grand Strand Law Group. You can reach them at 843-492-5422. Also at grandstrandlawgroup.com, and they have offices in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach. If you have any questions for today's guests or comments, please type your questions and comments into the comments section, and we will do our best to get them answered here on GBN Live. You may have to go to streamyard.com/Facebook to grant us permission. Matthew, before the break, we mentioned how a premium is calculated a little bit. I understand that there are a few things that can affect this. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. When we get into doing quotes, there is sort of a behind the scenes formula that the companies use to arrive at how much they're going to charge. So there's a lot of factors that come into play. Age, where you live, so your location is huge.
Okay.
And for better or worse, they do look at credit. So the better credit you can have, the better prices you're going to get as well. But there's a lot of really good options as far as that goes. When it comes to homeowners, they're going to look at the type of house and how old it is.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, updates are huge for the older homes. You get a new roof, and the carriers start falling all over themselves for that because
Right.
they figure it's going to be in good shape. So those are always great discounts. When it comes to the auto side, good driving records. If you've got kids, the good student discount, driver's training, things like that. So those are all good things that can help you get the best prices.
Yeah, because I know for when you have kids, the insurance can be a little pricey. So there are things that people can look into to do to help them with that a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Cutting a 16-year-old, 17-year-old loose. Unfortunately, they look at it as if not if, but when.
When, yeah.
But you can mitigate that cost some. Again, good grades, B average or better,
Okay.
and the driver's training programs, whether it's through the schools that they attend or if you go with a private
Train driving school. Yeah.
Right.
I have a 14-year-old, so I'm definitely interested in that.
We'll be shopping you around shortly then.
Yeah, exactly. So what does she need to do now?
Yeah, exactly. I'm here at a good time for you.
And she should probably go get a job.
Doesn't hurt. Yeah. Cover a little bit of that cost.
As a business owner myself, and there are plenty of business owners out there whose employees may use their own vehicles. So what does a business owner need to know if their employees are using their own vehicles?
Great question. They do have on the business owner's policies, there are coverages geared towards that. So they call that hired and non-owned auto. Basically, employees using their own to run to the bank, go grab lunch, anything on the company's behalf. If something were to happen, there's an avenue to recoup some of the money that would be lost there. So hired and non-owned is the way to go there when it's a vehicle not owned by the company.
Okay, gotcha. So what is the average cost then to have a rider for the business owner for their employees' vehicles?
Surprisingly, it's not that expensive.
Okay.
And also depending on what type of business it is too. So, but generally when we include that in with your liability or your business owner's policy, you're probably looking at a couple $100, just depending.
Right.
Now, I mean, if we've got a huge policy, 20,000, 30,000, might be a little bit more.
Right.
But your typical, smaller end business owner's policies, it's not that expensive.
Well, that's good. All right, so it's time for our rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Right? So this is just a little something we do for fun, just to get to know you a little better, kind of break up the interview a little bit. So tell me what your first job was.
My first job was at an Atlanta bread company in Florence.
Oh, okay.
I ran the sandwich line. So we always tried to, it was fun. I started there when it first opened. So, they trained us and everything, and it was really fun. We always played a game. I could hear the people ordering. And so we'd try to make their sandwich before they hit the drink line.
Nice.
And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Got to make it fun,
Yeah,
whatever you're doing.
absolutely.
Are you a night owl or an early bird?
I'm trying to transition away from being a night owl. I'm actually soon to be father. So
Oh, congratulations.
thank you. So that is something I'm trying to change in my habits.
Those habits might get changed for you.
It sounds like it. Yeah. But so I'm trying to do better, get better sleep. And of course, naturally, I think that's going to bleed over into my work day as being more productive.
Sure. Yeah. Are you a dog or a cat person?
Both, I guess. I was always a dog person. My wife's a cat person. So we have two of each.
Oh, two of each.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. That's good. Dark or milk chocolate?
Ooh, I would say dark chocolate.
Nice. Do you have a favorite color?
Baby blue, go heels.
Nice. Do you have a favorite word or phrase?
Absolutely.
That's
it.
How about a favorite movie?
Oh man, favorite movie. There's so many.
I know. These questions are kind of tough in a way.
They are. I would say right now I'm really nerding out on a lot of the Marvel movies.
Okay.
So I've been rewatching some of the, Thor, Love and Thunder, and the Multiverse of Madness, things like that. So we like those, the Marvel movies. So I'm looking forward to
fun.
this year's.
Do you have a favorite song?
Oh gosh, I'm terrible with song titles and artists. I will jam out to about anything, but yeah, if you ask me that, I'm not.
What about a favorite genre of song? Country.
I'd say
rock.
Probably country, and right now I've been listening to 2010s hip hop on Pandora.
Oh, nice.
So that keeps my blood flowing a little bit in the car.
Right, that's awesome. Favorite vacation spot?
Oddly enough, I'm going to say Williamsburg, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
I grew up going there. We went as family trips, and it was twofold because they have Busch Gardens, so that was always fun to go ride the roller coasters. But me and my parents, we all play golf too, so they have some really good golf courses up there. Jamestown National, Kings Mill, a lot of really good places. Nice. So we centered our vacations around that, and but now I guess since I've been married, we tend to go Florida, get on the beach and relax.
Right.
So.
And once you have that baby, when that baby's a few years old, you'll be heading back to Florida. You'll be heading back to Williamsburg, because that's where the Great Wolf Lodge is around there. I think.
That's right. I think so.
So we took our daughter there too.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
I've heard that's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, for kids.
Yeah.
It's great. It was great. It was good. It was good. And what is your favorite mobile app?
My favorite mobile app. Well, besides GBN, so I can get those referrals out there.
That's right.
I would say Instagram.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram a lot. I like to watch a lot of the cooking shows. I follow some bourbon collectors and things like that. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Plus, you can watch the reels, and it's not TikTok, so that's good too.
Yeah, I know. The TikTok craze. I told you I have a 14-year-old. So we can't go anywhere without her stopping and doing a TikTok. So grocery store, public restroom, anywhere. She's setting her phone up, So get ready.
My wife's big on TikTok, so I try to stay away from it. I'll let her have that.
Right. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Get to know you a little bit better there. Sandwich making machine.
That's right. Let's go.
So tell me now about driver's license checks. Can you run a driver's license check on my employees or any potential employees that I might be hiring?
Typically we do. So when we run our commercial auto quotes, they run those for us. Now, if I've got a company that's already established with me and say they're hiring a new employee, we do have a service that can run that for us. Maybe they're just screening their employees. We can do that.
Okay. All right.
So we subscribe to a service that lets us kind of get some of that information and tell our people whether or not that'd be a good hire for them. Because let's be honest, not everybody's very truthful about their driving records. So
no, I have no tickets. And then you run it. You're like, what about the? Oh yeah, that's still on there.
Get a 2-page rap sheet.
Yeah. Now, talking about rental vehicles, and this is a question I'm sure a lot of people have. Should I or my employees buy the collision coverage when you rent a vehicle?
That's actually a really good question. So yes and no. It just depends. So if you've got comprehensive and collision on your personal policy or on your business policy that you're renting the car through, you don't have to buy their insurance, which is good because your policy will naturally cover it, at least here in South Carolina. Now, there are benefits to buying like enterprises rental coverage because they do have, let's just throw ourselves in the worst case scenario. I mean, we're in insurance, so
right. That's what you're dealing.
Yeah, exactly. They will cover accidental death and dismemberment, and if your rental car breaks down in the middle of nowhere, I mean, they're going to pay for a hotel room for the night, things like that. So you've got some ancillary benefits.
Gotcha.
Going through Enterprise or Hertz or whoever it is that you're using. But not everybody is using it for that. They might just be trying to get back to work and home and school and everything. So, it really just depends. Again, you don't always have to, but sometimes it's a good idea.
Gotcha. It's always a question when you're at that counter and you're like, do I check the box? Do I want it?
Yeah.
Or am I going to let it ride?
And maybe thinking about that a little bit ahead of
Yeah.
time, like I said, if you're just using it as a
Right.
replacement for a little while, you might not need it, especially if you've already got that coverage. But yeah, if you're going out of town for a long trip, I know people rent rental cars for wedding trips. If they got to drive 7-8 hours and they don't want to put all those miles on their car, you might as well, just because let's say
Right.
you break down halfway through. You never know what people do in these rental cars anymore. So
Right.
anything can happen.
Right. No, I agree. So have there been, or do you see any major changes coming to the insurance industry when it comes to P&C insurance? Have there been any changes lately?
The major change that we've seen, especially on the homeowner side, we used to have a lot of companies that were not credit rated. And that's different than, say, what your Nationwides, your Travelers, or Allstate, even some of those companies. They're going to run a little bit of background credit and price you accordingly there. We had a bunch of companies that didn't run credit. They just gave you a quote based off the merit of the home. If it was a newer home, you're probably going to get a better rate. If you got an older home but new updates, you're probably going to fall somewhere in that same category too with a better rate. But what has happened over the last few years, especially with all the hurricanes and the storms that we've gotten, is those companies didn't charge enough premium to be sustainable. So what's happened is they've unfortunately gone out of business, and we've had to rewrite hundreds of policies that we've written for people.
Wow.
Because the company's no longer able to hold up their financial obligations.
Wow. Yeah. I've heard of that actually happening around here a lot too. Companies, going out
South
of
Carolina
business because of the storms.
Yeah, South Carolina had 12 last year.
Wow.
12 companies that were doing business here that no longer do.
Wow.
And some of those companies were able to sell their policies to a new entity, so you would get a renewal just with a different name on the paper. But some of them, they gave us a hard line date. They said, July 1st, you need to move these people or else they're not going to have coverage.
Wow.
So that's been a major shift.
I bet.
And naturally, we haven't really wanted to bring any more of those on board because, let's just say, it's not in everybody's best interest.
Right.
It might get you through buying the house for this year, but then if you're setting your budget for that amount on insurance and then next year it doubles, that hurts.
Yep.
So that's been a major one on the homeowner side of things. Back to autos again. I got to hit on that telematics again. That's, I think, going to be revolutionary for us, and especially you've seen a lot more of the electrical vehicles nowadays.
Right.
So they're going to be really plugged in with that data. What time of day are you driving? How many miles are you driving? So they, a lot of the companies, they don't like it if you're driving from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And those are the worst accidents typically.
Really?
Yeah. So people run off the road,
Yeah, I guess.
Fog.
I think there's not a lot of people on the road at that time.
Right. And I mean, of course, you got some working people that do, but let's be honest, what do they say? Nothing good happens after midnight.
Yeah. That's a whole nother issue.
Yeah. But so we see that a lot. There's going to be some other changes coming down the pipe, I think. Of course, you talking about your daughter being on TikTok. I don't know if you know, but there's a viral video going around where they're educating people how to break into certain types of cars. So naturally, yeah,
I'm like, unbelievable.
What's sacred anymore?
Right.
You can't even have your own car. But so now I got a notice last week. There's certain companies not going to cover major brands built in the last 10 to 12 years because they're so prone to theft. So they said, we're just wiping those off we're not going to insure them. Right. And if you've got it on a policy, their system's not going to hard stop it. But if they have a claim, there's no coverage. I mean, They flat out said, we're not doing that. So I think there is going to be some bigger changes. To depending on weather here in South Carolina, we could see some increased deductibles. We're trying to get ahead of that, encourage our homeowners not to file small claims. If it's $1,000, $1,500, you're probably going to have $1,000 deductible minimum anyways. So let's bump that up to $2,500. You're going to save a few dollars. And if you need a new roof, hopefully you're in a better position for that, to come up with that kind of deductible. But in the long run, I see that as being a way our industry is going. Yeah, gotcha. Awesome. Well, this has been some great information. Thank you so much for joining us. You can get in touch with Matthew at 843-319-6093. Also at the Hodge Ethridge Agency.com. Please reach out. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. And Matthew, one more thing before we go. Tell us why referral marketing is so important to you and why you chose GBN. Referral marketing has just been fantastic. We love building relationships with people, and especially in our chapter. So that's been great because we're able to get our message out. And there's nothing better than a warm handoff to somebody from somebody you trust to somebody that they trust. So we don't take referral marketing lightly because it works. It does. It does. Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. Thanks for having me. Yep. And remember, if it's Wednesday, it's GBN Live. Have a great week, everyone.